Here's just a couple of things we recommend bringing with you when you first go out to do your PDI. One would be some water. The reason to bring that water is we're going to stick one in the refrigerator and one in the freezer. And the PDI should take about 2 hours, so we're going to see if everything gets cold or frozen during that time. You got to have a notebook here just to write down everything that you find. Also, some blue tape would be great, so whenever you do find something, you can mark it with your blue tape there. And a Sharpie. You want to take this Sharpie and actually write on the blue tape what's wrong. You'll be surprised at how many times people think, oh yeah, we looked at that and it was fine, but they didn't really know what the real reason was that you marked it with the blue tape to begin with. The next thing here is a tester. This will go inside of each one of your outlets, and you can, there's a little section here that'll tell you what's wrong with the outlet, if there is anything wrong or if it's okay. And then this is just something to make sure that there's power going to where it needs to go. You don't need to touch this to anything. You just run it up against it, and if the light comes on, you get there's power to that. So starting with this with the water, I'm going to go ahead and take this over to our fridge. Our fridge has been on all day, so I'm just going to go ahead and open it up here. I'm going to stick one bottle anywhere, doesn't really matter. And oops, let me close this up. We've got a little safety lock on the side here that I put on, so we'll open that up and we'll put another bottle inside and close it up. So now we'll just go along with the rest of the PDI. Another thing you guys are going to want to look for when you're doing this PDI is that all the manuals for your particular rig are here and they match up with the equipment that you have. Make sure that your Insignia microwave has an Insignia manual. Same with your refrigerator, your TV, your Jensen Entertainment Center, your fireplace, whatever the case may be, your refrigerator. And also ask them if they called it in and warranted those items. If they didn't, make sure they do, because it's important. We've had a travel trailer before where some things needed to be replaced, and they went by the warranty that the dealership had filled out and submitted. Another thing you want to check for is the cabinet doors. Seems kind of crazy, but you do want to open every single cabinet door and close it. Make sure it stays closed. You don't want these popping up on you on the road while you're going, while you're traveling. So open them up, close them. Make sure they're not sticking. We had a problem with this one when we first did our PDI, and the guy had to come in, sit down, and readjust everything. You can see now it's fixed. This is a short one. That works fine. And here we go with the other one. Those all look right. So work your way around, check out all the cabinets, even in your bedrooms and in your bathrooms. Make sure they open and close the way you think they should be. One thing you're going to want to do too is when you're looking through your cabinets here, make sure that you don't see any daylight coming through any of these cabinets. And you know you shouldn't see it, but sometimes you do. If you can see daylight through there, that means critters can get in and out. So if there's any holes where wires come in and out of these places, make sure that they are covered. Okay, another thing you're going to want to do is check out your stove. Make sure it's working properly. You can see we've got an Insignia 4-burner stove here. It's kind of almost residential, not quite. But what you'll want to do is have the guy giving your PDI show you how to light the burners on the top. We're not hooked into our propane right now, so I won't be showing you how that turns off and on. But it's fairly straightforward, and you want your guy that's doing the PDI to show that to you. You also, if there's any lights on your oven, make sure that they work. And you also want them to show you how to light that oven. Sometimes it could be tricky. It's not as straightforward as you might think. So let him do that, and then it would be a good idea for you to do it as well, so you know what to look for. On ours, you can just happen to see when you're ready to light it, there's a little blue flame that shows up there that you could see, so you know that the pilot light is lit. Moving into our bathroom area here, this is our half bath right off the front door here. So you come in, there's a little half bath here. One thing you're going to want to do, make sure that they have the water hooked up, preferably to the city water connection. And once they do, you're going to want to check your hot and cold water. They should also probably have your hot water heater on when you get there. So check for hot and cold water. And then also on your commode here, make sure that it's working properly. Give it a flush, let the water fill back up. Know how to use the toilet. If it's your first time using an RV toilet, you got to hold the flusher valve down here for a couple seconds to let water go through, and then kind of let it fill up with a little bit of water to keep these seals moist. So. Also in our half bath here, we have a fan. So we were going to want to test that out and make sure it works. Over here, this is a little control station for everything. There's my fan, it's on. And there you can see, this is the top opening and closing here. Our fan coming off and on. Everything looks to be working okay. There's the light switch. So we can just close that back down now. There we go. In this bathroom, it has it shows your tank levels for the black water. So if I click here, you can see it's on empty right now, but just check it to make sure it works. Another thing you're going to want to pay attention to when you first get in here is to make sure that there's no dents or scratches in your floor and your linoleum. So you'll just take a walk around, look real closely, make sure you don't see anything that's out of place. Our floor has actually been replaced. We marked it, and there were some issues in our bedroom right up here where the chest of drawers is. It looked like there was pebbles underneath of there. So we had some issues there. And over here, there were some cut marks where it looked like they had just spliced some things together. So it went back to Heartland after the dealership tried to fix it to our satisfaction twice, but it was still a bad job. So we asked Heartland to help take care of it. When they got it back, they realized how bad of a job it was. They ripped up the whole floor, put in new flooring front to back for us. Moving on to the entertainment center here, a lot of people have this Jensen Entertainment Center here. You're going to want to make sure it works, that the speakers are all working. So you'll just want to turn it on. There we go. And right now it's on 98.7 FM. I got sound coming out. You can go through, make sure the volume works. Funny story about ours. When we were testing ours out, I noticed that when the fireplace was on and you adjusted the volume, it also adjusted the temperature of the fireplace. So this consequently is a new fireplace installed by Heartland. I think this is called a Greystone. We did have a Furrion in there, so this is brand new to us, but this is a known issue with these units, so make sure you test these out. The only way they could fix this was to replace the Furrion unit with the Greystone. So something to keep in mind. And a lot of techs don't know that. We didn't know it whenever we first did our PDI. Okay, moving on to our fireplace. This is our Greystone 40-inch fireplace that's just recently been installed. We did have a Furrion in there. Like I said, there is an issue with the remote control adjusting the height, the temperature. But make sure it works. Turn it on. and go through the colors, turn up the temperature, look at the brightness, everything on the remote. Make sure it does what it says it's supposed to do. And there I'm on low now. You can see there's high, there's timer. It'll go off and on. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So go through, make sure everything works. I can already feel heat coming out of here. So looks like we're good to go there. Also, consequently, sometimes the fan will continue running for a little while when your heat is on. It's no big deal. That's supposed to happen. But it will go off by itself. So moving on to the TV over here. A lot of times the guys will have the TV turned on whenever you get ready to do your PDI. If they don't, it's a good idea to just go ahead and turn your TV on. When we first did our PDI, this is not the TV that came with our unit. It came with a Summit unit, and there's a big red line that went straight down here. So I flagged that, and Heartland RV gave us a $600 credit towards a new TV, and we had them put in a Samsung TV. So take a look at that and make sure everything works okay with your TV. Also, if you happen to have a WineGuard 360 or some type of antenna on top, make sure you know how to use that antenna or the WineGuard system. Right now you can see it says no signal, but there's actually an antenna that you can use to connect to the TV so you get channels over the air. We usually just use a Roku on ours. Not a big deal, but actually have the tech go over how to make sure that your antenna connects to your TV and that you do get signal. Usually there is an outlet or somewhere in the rig that you have to flip to get the TV signal to come over air. I think in ours it's in the bedroom, and it's a little button next to the outlet, and it'll turn red or off when it's in use. Right now, guys, I'm in the little hallway closet, so I wanted to show you where our fuse box is. This is our fuse box. This is our breaker box. So you can see here, everything is labeled. You want to make sure it's labeled correctly too. As you can see on ours, 6 out of the 13 breakers, when we got this back from Heartland, were labeled incorrectly. We sent it back a second time and they took care of it. They just rewrote everything on here where it's supposed to be. It's important. On ours, we have a refrigerator, residential refrigerator. So when you turn the power on, the refrigerator comes on. If you don't want that to happen, you need to know which breaker to turn off so the refrigerator doesn't stay on all the time. Over here on this side is where all of our fuses are, and you want to make sure that you take a look and understand that on this side is what these fuses go to. So if you ever need to figure out if a fuse is blown, make sure that you have this information handy and that you know what it means. All right, this is our control panel right when you first walk in the door. You're going to want to make sure that everything works from here and that you understand what everything does. You got your water pumps for when you're just hauling water around and you need to use your water pump, or even if you're going to winterize your unit, make sure that that is working. This is your 120 volt hot water heater system for electric, and there's one for 12. So make sure that those are both working. Have your technician go over how your particular panel works. All your lights are here. We have outside porch, flood, and awning. This will retract the awning here for our big awning. And then we also have a ceiling fan. You're going to want to test your ceiling fan, make sure it works and comes on. Ours does. Also, if you have a ceiling fan, one important thing, especially if you have dual slides like we do, when these slides come in, these need to be in a certain position so when the slides from this side and this side come together, don't break the ceiling fan blades. The dealership that we had it at, they broke 2 of the blades while they had it in their possession and had to get it repaired. All right, guys, one other important thing is while you're doing your PDI, if it's in the summertime, you know you should have your ACs running, right? We're just on regular 15 amp or 15 volt power right now. Shore power. We're just on shore power right now. So we don't have our ACs on and running, but what you'll want to do is you'll want to go around to each one of the thermostats, make sure that they work and that they're on, that we're getting cold air out of the places where we should be getting cold air. So test all of those out. Go around to every thermostat that you have. Make sure that everything's working. Once that's done, turn it over to heat and just let it go through cycle on the propane. Make sure you hear it light up and that heat is coming out of your vents, and those are usually on the floor. So just stand over by one of the vents on your floor and make sure you feel some heat coming out of those things. So always a good idea to check these things. You don't want to get down the road and figure out that you don't have any heat and it's 30 degrees out that night. Yep. Moving on to the furniture here. One thing you're going to want to check. So this is a sofa that turns into a bed. It jackknifes out. You're going to want to have the tech show you how that's done. Sometimes it's just not as cut and dry as it should be. So have them pull out the cushions, pull out the bed, flip it over, make sure that there's a mattress in there or however it's supposed to be laid out, that it's laid out properly. Also, one thing that we thought was pretty cool about our unit that you don't really notice right offhand is that there's extra storage in here. So if you lift this up, there's some extra storage on each side. So there we go. And then moving over to your recliners, sit down in them. Make sure all the buttons work. There's lots of things on here that you can test. There's the massage chair, the heat. There's some lighting that you get for here and underneath, and you'll want to make sure that they work. Make sure that it adjusts in and out the way it's supposed to. Oops. This one I believe you got to hold in for 3 seconds and it'll shut off. Check your storage also, and it's important that you sit down in these. When we did our PDI, we sat down on this side over here, and the recliner was actually broke. This is a brand new recliner. They had to replace it for us. So yeah, ours also came with a charger for the phone up here. So you're going to want to make sure you stick someone's phone on here and you see that it says charging and that it's working properly. It's not the best charger in the world. It's a pretty slow charge, but at least it's there. Make sure it works. On this side of the couch over here, there's also some USB outlets at the bottom. Bring a USB cord with you so you can plug in your phone and make sure that those work as well. There's one here. I've got one over here that we would test as well. Moving on over here to the dinette set, you're going to want to have them show you how the leaf lifts up and locks into place. So instead of having 2 people here for breakfast in the morning, you could have 4. So in my case, this one just lifts up and there's a piece underneath that slides out and locks this in place. So yeah, and you should have something that ties down the chairs. Make sure that you see those installed, give them a tug, make sure that they're working properly. You don't want to go down the road and have your chairs go flying around. So make sure you see those. And like I said, give them a tug. You don't have to necessarily have the chairs locked down like this, but you don't want this to come out. Next thing up is you want to check your blinds. Make sure that there's no little pinholes, things like that in these blinds. Sometimes there are. Just manufacturer defects. So you're going to want to go around and just give a good look at everything here. I think we're looking pretty good on ours. Nothing big there. The next thing you'll want to do, make sure they go up and down and they lock into place like they're supposed to. All that looks good. Now we've only got 1 set of blinds here. You may have 2. You may have day and night shades. So check them out. Make sure that your all your windows are opening properly. Ours has been out for a while, so they're a little bit sticky, but you'll want to open them up just to see. There we go. So go around, check out your windows every chance you get. Make sure they go up and down. Unlock them, lock them back up. Here's exit ways to get out in case there's an emergency. Make sure that you can open this up and you can get out. This one, it'll just come open. And it just gives you a way to push this open so you can get a whole body out of here, get out of here in case there's an emergency. There we go. And it locks right back into place. Put that back down. Another thing you want to check for when you're opening and closing the doors, make sure they have actually open and close and they lock in place. You don't have any play or that they're easily pushed open without having to unlock them. Again, Heartland had to replace our door lock on the main outside there. When I got it back the first time, the door was open. Luckily that this piece was closed and was keeping it from coming all the way open as it went down the road. But yeah, make sure it locks properly, that it's not too hard to lock and unlock as well. And we're going to move into the main bathroom here. I'm going to check my lights, make sure they all work. Again, here I've got some windows I'd want to check. I've got a fan in here right there, and I'm just going to turn that on and make sure this goes up. No issues. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the fan here, make sure that all works. Everything looks good. Hey, and if you're out there and the guy's got a water hose when he's doing the PDI, this one, if it senses moisture, it should close down and turn off all by itself. So you'll want to test that out as well if that's the type of fan that you have. This one is that type of fan, and my half bath, it is not. It has a cover over top of it to prevent water from coming in. When you're done, I'm just going to hit the power button. It'll turn it off. Pull the lid back down. Everything should be good. Again, when you're looking for these, when you're looking for things, you got the water turned on. You're going to want to come over here. Make sure you don't see any leaks coming as the water's hooked up to your unit. This is our shower here. Seems like a no-brainer. Everything should just work. It's a shower, right? But go ahead, turn on the water. Make sure that hot and cold water are getting to it, that there's no leaks coming from the faucet handles here. Make sure everything goes up and down like it's supposed to. On our particular unit, we have some issues with water coming through these weeping holes when you're taking a shower. We notice the water comes up, hits the glass here, fills in these tracks, and when it fills in the tracks, the water is coming over, going down the side and down the side of the bedroom here. So make sure that all works for you. Another thing, something that we noticed on our PDI, this shower enclosure is all brand new, and you would never guess the reason why, but it's because when they installed this piece here on the original, it was up here. So this would go in and out okay, but you could never turn it this way while it was still on the handle here, connected to this piece. So what that meant was water was always shooting over here because it was too high up. I couldn't turn it. So they ended up having to take out this whole enclosure and putting a new one in, just because someone didn't take the time to realize that this had to be lower and not higher. So A lot of little things you need to be aware of. This is our storage area here. We don't really use a washer and dryer. If you do, make sure you know that the water is going to and from there. Maybe put a bucket with a hose to that just to test it out. We've never had that issue. And also there's a light up here. It's just a regular light that has a button. Make sure all of those work as you're walking around here. This is our closet, our walk-in closet. Want to make sure if you're supposed to have a vacuum cleaner connected in here that it's connected. Ours is inside the house right now from when we sent it back, but just make sure everything's there. Make sure that the bar, you know, there should be a brace here to have everything so when you're going down the road this doesn't fall in because you got clothes here. So give it a little tug test, make sure that's okay.